The Rachel Maddow Show is up next. Good evening, Rachel.
Lawrence, if you can convince Tim Pawlenty to get back into the race, I will buy you and him and anybody else in the room dinner.
It could be kind of a don't ask, don't tell thing. You can go back in, Tim.
You can re-enlist. Right. You don't have to pay back your severance, dude.
Right.
That would be awesome. Lawrence, thank you. Have a great weekend.
Thanks, Rachel.
And thanks to you at home for staying with us for the next hour. All right, the first surprising thing was when they showed and clapped and cheered for the fact that they wanted to legalize heroin. Do you remember the cheering for legalizing heroin at the first Republican candidates debate this year in South Carolina?
You say marijuana, cocaine, even heroin should be legal if states want to permit it.
What you're inferring is, you know what? If we legalize heroin tomorrow, everybody's going to use heroin. How many people here would use heroin if it was legal? I bet nobody would put the hand, oh, yeah, I need the government to take care of me. I don't want to use heroin, so I need these laws.
I never thought heroin would get applause here in South Carolina.
Me neither, Chris Wallace. It was such a strange moment. The crowd cheering the idea of legalizing heroin and Ron Paul's sort of ad-libby caricature of a person who might want that. It was great. When that happened, we pointed it out on this show the next night, and I honestly thought that would be the only time in the campaign when the crowd at one of the debates surfaced as one of the most interesting factors in that debate. Boy, was I wrong.
Governor Perry, a question about Texas. Your state has executed 234 death row inmates, more than any other governor in modern times. Have you struggled to sleep at night with the idea that any one of those might have been innocent?
That was the NBC News debate at the Reagan Library earlier this month, cheering for executions. Cheering that was loud enough to be remarked upon by the moderator. The cheering was ultimately praised as a patriotic response by the candidate who was asked the question about it. The next time the crowd became a factor, though, in a Republican debate, it was a little bit harder to defend the crowd.
A healthy 30-year-old young man has a good job, makes a good living, but decides, you know what, I'm not going to spend $200 or $300 a month for health insurance because I'm healthy, I don't need it. But, you know, something terrible happens, all of a sudden he needs it. Who's going to pay for if he goes into a coma, for example? Who pays for that?
My advice to him would have a major medical policy, but not before.
But he doesn't have that. He doesn't have it, and he needs intensive care for 6 months. Who pays?
That's what freedom is all about, taking your own risk. This whole idea that you have to prepare and take care of everybody.
But, Congressman, are you saying that society should just let him die?
No.
Yeah. That was the CNN Tea Party Express debate. I still can't really believe there was a CNN Tea Party Express debate, but there was. And those were members of the audience cheering the proposal that sick Americans should be left to die without receiving needed medical care if they are uninsured. By this point in the Republican campaign process this year, you would think that the candidates themselves would have figured out that if something like that comes out of the audience at the debate, it's okay to criticize that. It's okay to point out that you disagree with the cheering to let Americans die. You can do something. The candidates have apparently not learned that lesson. In last night's big Fox News Republican debate in Florida, things actually started off okay. A lot of the questions were posed in the form of videos that had been uploaded online. The moderators would play the tape of the question, which would give the audience then a chance to react to the questioners in addition to reacting to the candidates, like this.
When are we going to get someone in the White House that can stand up to these other countries and say, you're not getting any more of our money? This is stupid. We send billions of dollars overseas to countries that hate us.
Speaker Gingrich.
Yay! The crowd loves the question about ending the stupid foreign aid. They also cheered for this guy's anti-union question. They cheered for this guy's question about what federal agency would you eliminate. They applauded for lots of the questioners. The audience either applauded or were neutral to every question asked in the form of one of those little videos until they got to this one.
Senator Santorum. This question stirred up a whole lot of controversy online. It comes from Stephen Hill, who is a soldier serving in Iraq.
In 2010, when I was deployed to Iraq, I had to lie about who I was because I'm a gay soldier, and I didn't want to lose my job. My question is, under one of your presidencies, do you intend to circumvent the progress that's been made for gay and lesbian soldiers in the military?
Yeah. Boo. The Republican debate crowd booing the deployed American soldier in Iraq. Like the let him die moment and all of the previous ones of these, no Republican candidate on stage said anything about the booing. No candidate in this case even thought to say something like, "Thank you for your service, sir." There was nothing like that said during the debate. A few of the candidates have since said that it was an unfortunate moment that the soldier was booed, even though none of them, as I said anything about it at the time. Rick Santorum's explanation on Fox News about it today was that he just didn't hear the booing of the soldier. Again, here's what Mr. Santorum says he didn't hear.
Do you intend to circumvent the progress that's been made for gay and lesbian soldiers in the military?
Yeah, I would say any type of sexual activity has absolutely no place in the military.
Whether or not you believe that Rick Santorum couldn't hear the booing there, I am sort of more interested in his unprompted declaration there. Any type of sexual activity has absolutely no place in the military. I'm sort of more interested in this unprompted declaration from him that nobody in the military should have any kind of sexual activity at all. He's calling for a celibate military. I would like to hear more about this idea, as I'm sure would every 18-year-old in the country who is thinking about enlisting in our military.